This is the part where we get together. This is the part that's not about anybody standing up here and talking. This is the part that's about you putting your heads together and deciding how we can move on. Because what I'd like us all to do is break into small groups now. Can we do that ourselves? Or do you want me to do it for you? I don't mind. Yeah. Just as a suggestion, you don't have to, but maybe get into groups of people you don't normally hang around with. I don't know. Get out your zone of comfort a little bit. Yes, sir.
Well, if we're going to break up into groups, what kind of groups each group will be discussing? Different.
I think we all discuss the same thing, so we all get a say in everything. So it's my thoughts on it. But obviously, I'm open to that. Now,
do we have pens?
oh,
Do you write things down?
Yeah, I've got that.
No, we've had a second meeting.
Got one pen.
Did Tom want to have a talk about what's going on?
What was that?
Did you want to expose the fraud, Tom?
Fraud?
Yeah.
No, somebody asked me to speak for 2 minutes. I'll be there all day.
It's always your choice.
Yeah, I could listen all day.
Right, okay, I think everybody knows fraud. It doesn't matter whether you're looking at the police, the government who instigates it all, and the ones that carry it out is the courts, backed up by the bailiffs, supported by the police. Now, the police aren't all bad, because they're taking out people like us, but they're turned. And I think it's time that instead of shunning these people, is actually speaking to them properly and saying, you shouldn't be doing this. The fraud is instigated by young people starting off and entering into, it doesn't matter where it is, whether it's government, the courts, they start off being quite innocent, and when they've done so many things, they're now captured and held to ransom, and then the fraud just gets worse and worse and worse. Because they can't speak out, because they're involved themselves. And that's why the petition is good, because we can stop them at the top. It has to stop all the way down. And I think there's not a lot you can say about the fraud, because everybody's affected. Every man, woman and child, because they're taking children away. And that petition also stops that as well, because they're putting stamps with no details, no signatures. They're stealing children, they're stealing properties, and they're using bankruptcy against ordinary men and women. £750. You bankrupt, you take your house, take your car. That's all the fraud. It's tiny little things eaten away. Even you can get done driving your car for not doing something, not putting your seatbelt on. How can you be guilty of not doing something? And the only person that's going to harm is yourself, unless it's the insurance company. And then we're back again to the fraud. And then you look at the word insure, so we're back to maritime law. It's throughout society. We're all affected, so we need to stand up and look at them closely. Whatever you're doing, just look at the documents they give you. They're all fraudulent. They can't take things through fraudulent documents, but you've all said, yeah, okay, I'm guilty, I'll pay my parking fine, I'll pay this, I'll pay that, and yet they don't have the right. And you have the right, and you have the right to stand up and say, that's it, no more. And that's why the likes of, I said to Salon, and Abdullah, that how can someone travel 200 miles to come to my house, my family's house, and say, we've had enough, we've come to support you? What's in their minds? They must know that there's something seriously wrong with society. People to do that for us, it's amazing. And we need to spread that to everyone. It's all your duty now. So you did it to me, it's my duty to do to everyone that needs help, I'll certainly help. And as I said, they declared war on my family, and they're getting a war back. And they didn't win this battle, and they won't win the war either. So, fraud's everywhere, and we've got to stop it.
Yeah, so I mean, that says it all really. So I think we could break into groups and think, how can we push, yeah, we've got 1,500 signatures on this petition. How can we get 1 million? How can we get it up to 1 million?
That's the key, isn't it?
Yeah? And what else can we do? Not to, A, create an army of foot soldiers, starting with ourselves, to confront the power that confronts us, and tie that into publicising the petition. And if we're taking an action somewhere and we either get the press involved with that action, we can talk about the petition on that. These are all sorts of things we can talk about. And so if we can break into groups, and I will leave it completely at your discretion, how you do it, because I have neither the inclination nor the ability to do it for you. And just think, what's our message? How do we get that petition promoted as much as we can? What's our tactics going to be? How are we going to organise ourselves? What would a victory look like? When can we hold our hands up and say, yes, we've won?
When the Queen's in prison.
But most importantly, I want to measure a success of this meeting tonight, that we go away having managed to arrange to do something concrete. Not arrange to have another meeting, not arrange to have another talk, but go away saying, we're going to walk out of this door tonight at the end of the day, and we're going to be ready to do something real that's going to make a difference. So please, break into your groups, go outside, I don't care, do whatever you want, take as long as you like, you know, what, 40 minutes, half an hour, what's your rate, guys?
Just say about that bag behind him.
Oh yeah, sorry. There's a bag, has anybody lost a bag? There's a green bag behind the bar. Thank you, sir. So, let's break. Let's not piss about though. Let's not talk about the football match or which dog's running at 6 o'clock at Nottingham tonight. Let's talk about these issues and get back together and you guys feed back to this group.
We'll place a link to the petition in the video description below, so check that to get the link for the description that Tom's been talking about.
All the questions the eviction, have you ever gone back to
on what we've been thinking about all comes together. So really, you know, who's going first?
The bailiffs.
Are you alright about me reporting back to the group? Yeah, then what I've missed.
Yeah, they all know it's so going up to.
Alright, so we were a huge group. Oh, sorry, have I got me on telly? We were a huge group and we tried to get through as much as we could. So we talked first about what our message was, and some of the things that came out of the discussion was trying to stick really closely to the idea of eviction and trying to make a message that would be accessible and like family friendly and something that people could get behind. So we talked about the idea that everyone had a right to housing, and we did various different wordings of it. Some people were very keen to have everyone has a right to their home, like not just any home, the home that they have and have become attached to and is theirs. The other one was that everyone has a right to a decent, secure home, somewhere that they feel safe in, that they're not going to get thrown out. We thought they were messages that weren't like massively overtly political, but there was something that people could get behind. Talking about tactics, we talked quite a bit about how to make sure that people were informed. And that there was quite a lot going on the web for people who are involved in resisting evictions, but maybe not so much going out to people who are at risk of eviction, how they know about what's happening, how they know that there's people there to support them. One of the things that was suggested about that I think Jenny brought up in the main meeting earlier, was something that we could put through doors, hand out, some really simple piece of information that's got contact details for us, and it's got some of the basics about what people's rights are. One of the ways that we talked about producing that kind of stuff and producing information for us was the discussion that we had earlier about workshops, that potentially they could be organised towards actually producing something. So you're having a workshop to learn about the legal rights that people have, and at the end of that workshop what you'll get out of it is information to pass on to other people. So that you're always trying to actually, there's like an aim to the workshops and you get something out of them. We had quite a discussion about direct action as well, something that we thought had to come to the meeting to be discussed by everybody. How far are people willing to get involved in direct action? How far is that going to be non-violent direct action? How much do we have to be guided by the individual who's at risk of eviction in those? We thought that was probably a discussion that everybody needed to take part in. Another part of tactics was the idea of pushing the petition. Talking about, there's a lot going on Facebook. It doesn't seem as much use as being made of Twitter at the moment and getting Twitter storm going and endorsements going on Twitter, and also the importance of a physical presence doing that. So if you can get paper copies to be either in your community, in your university, in your workplace, wherever, trying to push that. We then talked about organisation. And it was discussed that you might need some kind of groupings with people who had a level of training or information in each of the groupings. We talked about from that as well the idea that you want to be ready to be mobilised. So there was some discussion about being prepared to be able to go and stay in a place, having equipment ready, having local groups ready. And that you might have some kind of rota system of people who were well informed and trained, so that there was always somebody available in any situation who would be able to give that information. We talked about the need for regular and real meetings, and we talked about whether they were good on a virtual space or whether they were good face to face, or whether you needed both. And there was also an idea of whether we might need groups to do specific tasks. So if we're splitting up between us, rather than everyone trying to cope with everything, would you have a small group of people who are trying to deal with press, someone else trying to deal with social media, someone else trying to deal with legal knowledge or certain types of organisations, so that we knew that there were definite people doing different things. I think I've covered what we said. Anyone from my group who thinks I missed something dead important?
Sounds good.
Sounds great.
Next!
I've got something.
If somebody, yeah, please do, I think.
Not done this before. Thanks so much, everybody. It's great to see everybody's faces. I've been in a couple of groups, and we're basically talking how positive we all are. You know, we realise that we're having ill will, harm, loss, and we're being lied to by the people who are supposed to be looking after us, although we can look after ourselves. So if we realise, and we stand under no ill will, no harm, no loss, no lying, we are what? Positive. And anybody that doesn't stand against that belief system, lie to yourselves, do whatever you like. But if you don't stand up for that, no ill will, harm, loss or lying, then surely you're a negative other self, so you're not a positive person. What does everybody think?
If I can just come in on that, I was going around a lot of groups trying to chat to as many people as possible to get a feeling, and they were putting these hypothetical situations out. What about when somebody's been fraudulent themselves, or I think there was a particularly good example from Henry, whatever it is, which you can talk about later, and how, you know, when people are bad, do we still support them? And I think what's just been said there encapsulates it all. We're good people and we support good people.
If Cameron came for the cure for cancer for, say, one of his sons, do you think Ricky Simpson would still give it to him? Of course he would.
Yeah.
Why hate? If you hate another other self, even if they're negative, you're only going to...
You put yourself on their level, aren't you?
So I love them, I love the Queen, I love David Cameron, but I don't like what they don't do for us.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Well, I can't hate anybody, I'm sorry.
Is anybody
I don't even hate myself.
wanting to report back? If this group's of people that nobody wants to report back, I'm quite happy to take their notes and report back for them. But I would really ask that...
I'm happy enough for the points that was talked about here, but I'm afraid that I have to accept that my memory is absolutely terrible, so I'll just do the best I can. Short-term memory.
Watch the videos.
I want to manipulate the video.
Anyway you want.
Right, I'll go to the first one, as I said about this memory of mine. A guy at the top mentioned training, and the lady there just mentioned it. The people we were talking about were very much for that, and for these reasons is that we've all been looking at stuff online, trying to learn off all these different papers, different sites, different things, but people like myself and a few others over there, my long-term memory's great, short-term memory's great, and I think it'd be a great help for us all to get in a room together. I think it'd work a lot better for us to register it in our minds, because, you know, we're only remembering bits at the minute.
The more often you repeat it, the quicker you can.
Well, of course, and I think it's better that way, because you're also getting friendly with these people as well, and then building it for when we go on from there. So
there could be some great
I'm all for that.
You know.
Yes, and then the next thing that I was on about was, so that we can all keep in touch with each other, is forming some kind of register, which has been spoke about a bit. One idea, lady down there said, was about this Liberty Bell thing, where I don't know much about it myself, it was the first time I heard about it.
Basically we used to have one in Nottingham when we used to go to so-called Freeman meetings.
Yeah.
And the Royal Canadian Mounted Police put an end to that with a worldwide circular to say that anybody says they're Freeman on the land, flesh and blood moving, sovereign citizen, to arrest them and to lock them up in mental hospitals. So that ended that. But we used to have, basically the Liberty Bell was a collection of people's phone numbers. There weren't any names on it. Were there any names on it?
No.
Probably the first name.
Just first names. And basically, say if the bailiffs were coming to somebody's house, everybody, you would send a text out, there was always credit on it. So it would send a text out to like 50 or 100 people. And, you know, if there's an eviction going off at such and such house, such and such road, such and such place.
Yeah.
And it happened to Stallon's place. He got his locks drilled by the gas company or whatever. And the bailiffs and the police turned up. And yeah, within an hour, there was 50 people there, weren't they? And his missus was making cups of tea, and we were running inside and in and out the front door, and the bailiffs were drilling the back door.
I'm still waiting for that tea from Tom.
The Liberty Bell works really well.
So yeah, on that register then, it was the Liberty Bell idea that you just spoke about.
Great.
For those that want to, is swapping phone numbers so that we can text each other if that's the way they want to go with it.
Well, if everybody wants to chip in, we could buy a phone, or unless somebody wants to donate one.
Yeah.
And make a
Give
list
it to
of,
Tom.
And give.
Yeah.
You should be happy with that, Tom.
Who wants the Nottingham Liberty Bell? Who wants to run it? Anybody fancy the job? There you go, sir.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Thank you very much.
Maybe you want to talk to Pete afterwards, and we'll set something up.
Steve,
Anybody who wants to
can you make
join?
sure that's
It's Marty. His name's Marty.
Martin?
Right. Well, I'll try and get up to your time.
Yeah, and cross-reference that with response.
Yeah.
Cross-reference the response as well. So then you could get a nationwide.
Give the minute taker a second to catch up, I think. Carry on.
All right.
Whoever gets it first, myself or Marty, it'll be fired out and blasted everywhere
I
anyway.
think there's a computer program which you can use which just mails one message out, you know, eviction taking place, anybody that wants to attend.
You can do it with a Skype account.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, do it with Skype, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, but not just eviction, bedroom tax, council tax, anything. We've got to start standing up to this scum
Social services
that are
taking
running the
kids
planet.
away. Good idea.
We're okay. Right, the next one was the response groups and what have you, and like regarding contact other than Facebook, like local meetings and what have you, because not everybody is on Facebook, you know, at the end of the day, so that we can get something going on that side of things as well. Another idea was engaging with local students, and you know, I think the idea was educating them about what's happening now, and you know, all the things that we're all looking into.
Well, question everything, yeah.
That's right. But another one was the tactics with the bailiffs. Like obviously at Tom's it was an ideal situation for it. Is that maybe we should have gone back a bit, let the bailiffs go in, and then come in behind them
and ask them what they're doing,
and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know. And then there was talk around lawful rebellion, because one of our group went all the way down to Glastonbury the other week, but when she got down there, was unable to go in because it was steep steps, and she wasn't able to access the place. And thought maybe that this would also help some of us out to understand things a bit better as well.
I think
The videos for that are up now.
Sorry?
The videos from that meeting in Glastonbury.
Yeah,
So the woman in pink, please.
I thought the point on mentioning the lawful rebellion was the growth of each being alongside each other, because then you'll have the thought that instead of this just being to react to, then you'll get that side. Once this side of it has grown enough, then that side can, say for instance myself, I'd love to stop paying my council tax and my bedroom tax, but I know right now, without some backup of knowing what's going to happen when they come to me, I can't do that. So that then goes in with taking away the us foundation for them up there. You know, and I think in conjunction with each other, it's going to be one massive thing.
Yeah.
Really, really
Well,
big.
regarding the council tax, Salon and I have been to the council on numerous occasions. You've probably seen us. We went there yesterday and got accosted. But I went to the council and I said, I've got the council tax bill, I'll pay it. Where can you show me in law where it says that anybody's obliged to pay council tax or any tax whatsoever? That's a new one, he said. Couldn't find it. There's some bullshit about financial report or crap like that. And I said, okay, if I don't pay, what will happen? She says, we'll take it to court and make a liability order against you whether you like it or not.
So they lied to you by saying they were going to take you to court?
Correct. But we know they pay for the courts and they pay the magistrates.
We could just.
Right, well, I'm going to finish up now because I've been here quite a while and I'm getting tired as well. So anyway, there was only 5 in our group. We found it easier to stay over there because of getting in and out with sticks and everything else. And that's about it. What we come up with. So.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Don't watch this guy with his mobility scooter.
And that is extortionate slavery. Yeah.
Who's next? I'm sure there's a lot of people out there itching to talk. Come on.
Don't be afraid. Ours is getting used to it. A little bit different.
That's good. Different school.
Ours is working. Because we've been working on a potential eviction in Liverpool that's due very soon. I wasn't aware of it until tonight. But once I get the details, it will be blasted here, there and everywhere. The full details, obviously. Again, this is caused through bedroom tax. It's a housing association property, and the guy's been told that he's going to be given notice of eviction for non-payment or falling behind with his bedroom tax, which, as we all know, is unlawful anyway. Little did they know that once we know the date, they ain't going to go nowhere. They ain't getting anywhere. If they've got their right paperwork, then fine. We'll give them a chance.
Has anybody ever seen a warrant that's signed? Yes. When the judges put their signatures to these papers, why? Because they realise
It's because they're the ones that are liable. If they do that, they don't be liable.
So they won't be liable.
They're not taking the chance, are they? So that's basically what our group was doing. We was working more than anything, sorting everything out and making sure that we've got the right people connected to the right groups.
Eddie, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Is there a group called Nottingham Response?
No.
It's a rhetorical question. Can I just put something to the group? There is now.
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done. There is now.
Can someone take it as an action to set that up?
Yeah, that's no problem. My initial plan with the response after the Midlands group took off was just to go regional.
There's so much
so that we
happening
weren't stepping on each other's toes, if you know what I mean. We've got the same minds in the groups to deal with the situations, but getting the bodies there as well. So we've got bodies within travelling distance from either group, you know, from the two closest groups. And we welcome, personally, I'll welcome city groups, town groups, local groups.
Unity.
And
We're all in it together.
And you can guarantee one thing.
As we get bigger, Eddie, it could be parish groups, street groups.
But you can guarantee one thing. You will always, always have the support of every response group.
Okay, come on, I saw there was a big group here having loads of chats. There was a group over there had a lot to say. There must be somebody else wanting to step up. There was a group over here that was involved with a lot of talking, so surely there must be somebody else who's got something to share with everybody.
Andy?
Please.
What's that me?
Fight the power war!
Go on, Andy.
Go on. Come on, Andy.
What we spoke about, amongst many things, it's my idea really, is about getting the message out to as many people. It's like this meeting here, most of us here sort of in the know, we have various ranges of knowledge on this subject. And I just think it's a good idea, come up with a plan. We didn't come up with a plan, but come up with some sort of idea to get the so-called sheeple involved, you know, get new people to come to these meetings, people that, the non-believers, whether that be some sort of marketing campaign, getting a book, you know, all of us getting our heads together, getting a book together, law for dummies or rights for dummies, you know.
Are you looking at me?
Yeah, I mean, but basically, you know, just like
guide to what's going on this planet.
and something just to convince, you know, for instance, I mentioned earlier a lady that works in a local shop to me. I helped her out with a parking ticket, and she was amazed by it. You know, I mean, people like us, it's nothing, is it, a parking ticket? But she was amazed by it. She's told me, which has inspired me to get a seminar going, that she could fill a room full of people that don't know anything about this. So I think that's a good avenue for us to maybe have a look at, think about, you know, how we can convince the non-believers in very simplistic terms. I believe it can be done somehow. That's what we spoke about. I'm standing with eyes on this.
Where's your chairman?
Okay, any more for any more, because I'm sure.
I do just want to say the one thing. I said it out there, yeah, it's like the establishment has taken our right to survive off the land. The establishment has taken our right to build our own house on this land. The establishment has an obligation to give us our own house. Like, they should not take our houses away from us. They have an obligation to put a roof over our heads. Because I can't build a roof in the woods because the establishment would have something to say about it. So always remember that. They have an obligation to give every single person a home. Like, it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
If everybody on this planet is given free access to all things, then we won't need any, they wouldn't be greedy, would they?
Oh my God, I don't like it. Right, I was going back to...
So I'll bring you in next.
Spreading the petition. I know we need to branch out and get groups involved and maybe post flyers and things like that. Infiltrate Twitter, do you know what I mean, and get that. But I've been doing a thing on Facebook. I've noticed if you post something to your wall, unless it's a picture of your cat or your dinner, nobody cares. If it's of anything of importance, buy it. So what I did the other day is I spent the whole day and I personally tagged an inbox 270 people, and I've had 50 emails from change.org saying that 50 people that have gone from my link have signed. And I was discussing with the people out there, it sounds quite petty, it's 50 signatures, but just in our group outside, that was as many signatures as we've already got already. That's not including all the other groups that jump in. And I'm trying to create a snowball effect. It's all about the tagging. You've got to share it, you've got to flatter people by tagging their name.
We can all do this. We can all do this.
Spend half a day on your weekend and then encourage your friends to share it, not just to share it and sign it, but to tag it also and tell their friends to tag it. I mean, at the moment it's like a little hailstone.
What Claire's done is an example to us all.
It's like a snowball effect that I'm trying to get. And it sounds sort of quite petty, just 50 people, but like I say, 50 people each in this room, and then I've noticed my friends are sharing it and tagging it, and forcing their friends to share it and tag it, and it will. That's just one avenue we can go down. But just sharing it, nobody's taking any notice. Nobody cares.
They look at the language and they go,
yeah, honestly, it's not something nobody actually cares.
Okay, the chap over there, if we could respect his earlier wishes not to be filmed, he did make that clear from the outset.
Yeah. I just had a question, I'm trying to understand. Let's say in the case of bedroom tax eviction or some other kind of eviction, that if in fact some bank went to court and got, quote, proper paperwork, it was, quote, done all legally by the legal system, say in a bedroom tax, and it showed one of the legal beagles here, it's all, quote, legal to evict that person. Is the point of view that's been expressed that therefore this group wouldn't do anything in the case of a, quote, legal eviction?
Defend no matter what.
No, if it's legal, lawful, then that's fine. However, we know that nothing they do is lawful or legal. Everyone from the police, the courts, the government, it's all totally unlawful, and that's why we're here making this stand tonight.
Just guys, can we actually let him finish the question? You didn't. It was just cut off, and you just gone off on some reason.
Please continue.
What I'm trying to understand, I thought people said that that it's impossible to have a, quote, legal eviction. In other words, in Tom's case, he was screwed around by banks, etc. We know that. And it could be in other cases, people completely jerked around, wrong paperwork, all kinds of screw-ups. But what you're saying, or probably heard you say, that there cannot be, under any circumstances, a, quote, legal eviction. That's just impossible.
No, it's
Okay, well, I just want to say I disagree with that viewpoint. I, in fact, think any eviction should be stopped, whether legal or illegal.
Yeah, the trouble is that not since, I don't think it's ever happened, that there's been a legal eviction in this country. And the reason being is because they will not put the correct stamp and put their signature to it to make them liable for the fraud. And there is not one judge in this country who is prepared to put a signature on paper and take responsibility, because they know that they'll end up in jail. And that's the simple.
Because the mortgage is fraudulent before it gets.
Exactly. Yeah, but even that, what they're actually doing is so fraudulent, and they just can't. If I was in their shoes, I wouldn't sign it, because they're looking at 25 years in jail for perverting the course of justice. And that is the actual.
Yeah, but they believe they've got ground immunity, don't
they? They believe that, but you go after the man.
That's when you have to.
That's right, and that's why when they put their name to it, you don't hold the judge or the district judge or his honour to that. You go straight for the name, and the name will. That's why that document will not have a name. And that's the answer to that. They'll never do it.
I think we can all agree that. Well, I know nothing about the law, the technicalities or anything like that. Evictions are immoral.
Yes.
And if we have a legal stand we can make against them, that's a strong tactic. if they do change their tactics and somehow do it legally,
We'll
we
change ours.
change our tactics. And
You
we,
obviously don't know what you're talking about.
quite, I
There
don't.
is no way.
Well,
It can be legal.
I know nothing about the law. I know a lot about morality,
Yeah.
and that's the only thing I can
A lot of
say.
people in this room do.
Yeah, but all I can say is I don't care what the law says, whether the law, I will resist any ordinary person's right to stay in their, I will support any ordinary person's right to stay in their home by any means necessary.
Why would you need any laws if somebody lives under no ill will, harm, loss or like? Simple.
Well, they're not laws anyway, they're only rules, aren't they?
Bylaws and
Yeah, that's...
And who are they under?
You know, I mean,
It's not common law.
we all know.
This is a day, we're going off on a tangent again. Can we get back to what we're talking about? We're going off on a tangent completely.
Okay, if we hold to think, does the group agree that at this point in time, using the arbiter of common sense, obviously we don't keep a king in a castle, but using the arbiter of common sense, we will fight all evictions?
Yes.
Yes.
Does anybody disagree with that sentiment?
An informed response to just sit back and do nothing.
Over there, does that sufficiently answer your question, or do you have anything else to raise on that?
Well, I hate to sort of be the first of the party, but there could be other circumstances where 98% of the time it's banks, big corporations, all that kind of thing, trying to take property away from the Tom Coppers of this world. One could create a situation where, for example, a male chauvinist pig kicks his wife and 3 children out the door, and in fact they want to come in there to in fact be able to live, and so in order to do that they have to go to court, and then they have to get a bailiff to in fact evict a bad, a male chauvinist pig who's beaten his wife so he can get back in there. I, for one, would not want to be on the side of supporting people in that circumstance to fight off the bailiffs. I think that would be very bad for this group if it got a reputation of fighting every eviction under any circumstance. And Richard Branson doesn't pay his taxes, they go after, all kind. We shouldn't in fact say no bailiffs, we're opposed to every bailiff in every circumstance, we're opposed to every eviction, because you just get one that comes along that looks bad. This group, I think, would not look good.
That's a valid
We're going to morality there, and I don't think anyone here would agree with that. But the thing is, those things generally, very, very occasionally turn up.
Yeah.
It's the majority of people that are suffering. There are small cases that this happens in, which is totally wrong, and I agree. But we're talking about the majority of people.
Yeah, say I think, Henry.
It only takes one case, Tom, where, we are defending the bad man. And if it gets in the paper, it could be wonderful. And that's...
Yeah.
It's just trying to make sure we don't...
They could set one up. They could set us all up.
But that's okay, then we just revert back to common law, and they can't change common law because it's set. And you've got royal law as well, and they just can't touch that. The bailiffs have tried. To give you a small update on a friend of all of you, and that's Guy Taylor. Now, they took his property, and we're taking the property back. And there's some other people that were going to take the property back because they had no right to take it in the first place. You've seen the paperwork that I showed you. This, okay? It's exactly the same. They stole property, that man and some other people that I know, and it's down to everyone to support them, and it will be coming back in his possession very soon. And that's a bit of good news.
Can I just say, if it means going to take his property back, count me in. Yeah.
Okay.
Count me in. I will go down there and I'll stand on the front line to take that property back. Count me in.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I think everybody.
Yeah.
Do we have...
Can I make one more point?
Yeah, of course.
This is hopefully not controversial. In our little group, it was the thought that maybe we could have, say, before the end of September, it would take a while, to set up a kind of face-to-face on the law and the tactics of evictions with people who know about these things, and like talk these things through, have some people give little lectures. I'd say I taught law for 25 years. One of the things that's really helpful is have some little problems. Like, if everyone says all the case law, yeah, but how do you in fact apply them in certain kind of circumstance? And there's no, it's all very fine to have things on the internet, but if you actually can discuss, debate things face to face, it's really the way that people can learn. And maybe before the end of September, 2 months from now, there could be, Saturday afternoon or whatever, 50 people get together, 3 or 4 people give little talks on the law about this, the tactics, and we just sort of have discussions. It has to get organized in advance, anyways.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good.
I was going to say quite a similar thing, that we seem to get into the knackered point of the evening and we've not yet organised when we're either getting together as a group again, or when different people are who's going to be responsible for taking all these different bits of actions that we're talking about, and when they might meet, which seems
one thing I've captured that's been a massive theme of what a lot of people have said is to have these anti-bailiff workshops, be they legal or tactical or whatever, to have these workshops now. I'm quite willing to do the groundwork on that, to take an action away. As I say, I do work a lot of hours, I don't want to own anything. Once I've set the ball rolling, I'd like more knowledgeable and more time-rich people to take over from me. But I'm quite willing to set the ball rolling with regards to that, if everybody's happy for me to do so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah. Stick with the people though, stick with the people. People.
Okay, other things that we've captured throughout the night, and you've been taking some of concrete actions that we can take from here on in.
I can't think of anything. My laptop battery's gone.
The Twitter hashtag. I think
we didn't have a Twitter hashtag on and if we had, we could have got a lot more interest.
Yeah, and
they're fantastic.
I think we have captured a lot of stuff, haven't we? That, like it's been said, we get into the knackered stage. We've captured a lot of stuff, and I think in the wash, when it's all reviewed and does the rounds of the social media, we are going to be able to arrange some concrete and solid actions out of this. So, in closing, all I'll say is thanks everyone for coming. Does anybody have any feelings they want to share it with everybody on whether this has been a productive meeting and whether we should do this again?
We should do it again, and when?
I'm going to bring down the tone a bit, but I feel that the things that you said at the beginning, Pete, weren't actually always kept to. People have brought their politics into here, and that's obviously always going to happen. People have gone on discussions about where they stand politically. I know that's hard not to do that, but that's not what we intended to do, I don't think. So they need to reflect about that at the next meeting. Personally.
Yeah, I think it's something we can all think about. I mean, have you any suggestions on how we can improve it? But it's a valid point.
Well, today I think even though we've all got our own political views, we're all sitting here, we're not arguing. Tonight's gone well. You know what I mean? Like tonight's gone really well.
Yeah, our common interest is we just want something that's done right and righteous.
And to say the fact that we're in with alcohol, it's gone well. Like we've been drinking, like normally alcohol and politics does not mix, and we're all still here. So, we're all
do we arrange to do this again at some time?
Yes.
And how soon should we do it?
Monthly event?
Monthly.
I say Saturday, we go out in town with petitions and we just march it.
Yeah, well this is something, this was something else. Can we do a stall?
I'm on it, Saturday. I'm going to get some petitions going. Saturday, 9 o'clock, Market Square. I'm going to say this right now. 9 o'clock.
You're saying 9's a bit early.
I'll be looking for you.
We'll be there at half 8 checking.
You'll see me on my activist box, put it that way.
Anybody else got anything?
I've got one question for next time. What happened to our peace officers?
We weren't police officers.
They're now political policy officers, aren't they?
Yeah. We need some peace.
So we need them back.
We need some peace officers to protect us.
Right, to arrest all these criminals.
Well, it's the 5th of August today. It's the 5th of August today. What will be the date in 1 month's time? Somebody with a calendar on the phone.
We went to university.
Guessing.
Does that fall on a Sunday? You know what I mean?
On the videos.
6. Say, what day is that?
Between the 2nd and Tuesday.
The 2nd.
2nd of September is Tuesday.
2nd of September, that's, yeah, Tuesday.
28 days.
I've got a calendar on my phone, I'll just figure out how to use it.
Is everybody good for the 2nd?
Yeah.
Does anybody object to the 2nd?
It's all day Tuesday.
Yeah.
Can you make it on Wednesday?
I've got a brain like this.
We can make it the 3rd if
No, not Tuesday, it's our fortnight.
Forget saving the world, we've got Paul to play.
What about Wednesday the 3rd?
Wednesday the 3rd? To fit around Paul team?
He can't make it.
Thursday the 4th?
I can't make Thursday.
Can't grumble at that, can you? Are you talking here or
Well,
when you're...
You better speak to Becky.
we'll say, I'll
Well, it'll
just...
come up with Jenny.
I'll create an event. I'll do what I did last time. I'll create an event, put to be confirmed on it, and we'll work through it. Now, I'm still up in the air about the date on this.
Keep it to Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Keep it Tuesday the 2nd.
Tuesday the 2nd. With apologies to the Paul team, if we are here, we may be somewhere else. Sorry.
If we're going to have something to bring back to the meeting, it'd be quite useful if people were meeting in the next couple of weeks, who are going to look at specific things that they're going to do, otherwise we're going to come back and have the same discussion, aren't we? So how's that going to be organised? Is that going to be done through the websites? Or
social media.
Have you managed to capture some fairly comprehensive minutes that can be put out? So Stephen here has captured some very comprehensive minutes. They'll be circulated throughout the websites. I'm going to get on everybody's cases to make sure everything that's been captured is done, and if I don't, I hope people get on my case. I'm sure they will. And I think we continue to communicate via social media between now and then.
Have you done it yet? Have you done it yet? Get on the media, have you done it yet?
Anybody else with anything else? Guys, thank you very much.
Thanks everybody.